We are called Food is Fun. We're coming to do a survival cooking demonstration for you. And we have an expert chef here. We've just done a couple of food festivals in Plymouth. On the weekend we were doing one on the Barbican and the Seafood Festival. Were you there? Excellent, good man. And a few weeks before that we were in the centre of Plymouth doing a festival called Flavorfest. Flavorfest is something that's actually started by this guy. This guy over here is a guy called Jacques Marchal. When he starts speaking, you will know he's not from Plymouth. He's actually from France, but came to England in the 70s, so he's actually been in England a lot longer than he's been in France. In fact, he's been in Plymouth a lot longer than he was in France. And he married a Plymouth girl, so he's an honorary Plymouth girl, a Plymouth boy. He used to have a restaurant in the centre of Plymouth, down by the market. It's called Chez Nous. Do you guys know what a Michelin star is? Good. Jacques had a Michelin star for 13 years, is that right?
Something like that, yeah.
13 years running. Getting one Michelin star for 1 year, it's sort of like winning the gold medal on the 100 yards at the Olympics. So this is the Usain Bolt of cooking in Plymouth. And you got it 13 years running.
Yeah.
So he's going to give you a survival cooking demonstration. We're going to have tasters coming around. You can ask questions. We'll last for a couple of hours. It's nice and informal. So could you please, first of all, put your hands together for Jacques Marchal.
Thank you very much. Well, earlier I was speaking to this young gentleman there. Basically what we have done with Sainsbury's sponsoring it, we are going to cook some food which is very good, cheapish, because we use all the basic range from Sainsbury. And we were talking about fish earlier. Now, if you want to buy some fish, in fact, I've just been on the fish market to get a little mackerel to show you. There is only one fishmonger in Plymouth, which is down the Panier Market, which is just about half a mile from here. And again, what we were discussing was that if you want to buy some fish, nothing is cheap, sadly, but very often they have an abundance of, let's say, mackerel. If there is a lot of mackerel being landed that particular day, then it will be cheaper. So always ask the fishmonger, say, look, what have you got that you think would be cheap? Now, also what I suggest that whatever we're going to cook for you today is that, say, if 6 of you share a kitchen, well, why don't you take it in turn? You know, and every night somebody different does the cooking, so you have a different meal every night, and it's not such a chore. Now, what I do with the mackerel is that I will put a little bit of, tiny bit of salt and a little bit of black pepper, and then very often, you know, like people tend to overcook everything. Certainly, fish is one of them that you should not overcook. You know, I'm going to show you how quickly it is to. And this is great to have as a little salad. Or so what we'll do here, we're just going to take some spring onion, a little bit of lemon juice, lime. So we just wait for the frying pan to be extremely hot. And then what I do is that I hold the mackerel firmly down, because otherwise it's going to curl up. It just shows you how fresh it is. And very often we have a problem, especially with children, but very often people say, I don't like fish because fish smells. Now, fish should never smell except of the sea. If it does smell, then don't buy it. And this is so fresh, you know, you can feel it, how firm it is. So we're just going to do chop some spring onion, just a little garnish, and then so just chop them very finely. A little bit of lime juice. Lime is really great because it's actually softer, much softer than. And then just show you really to present it very quickly. We just got a little bit of lettuce there. Now again, you see sometimes when you look in the supermarket, perhaps go to the supermarket about, I don't know, 5:30, 6 o'clock, maybe all those things will be reduced half price, because they have to sell them on a day. So always look out for those. So just put a little bit of a garnish like this. Now this is nearly done, so just turn them over. more or less, you see what you can actually see on the side of the fish when it's actually changing color and it's almost cooked. And then of course, when it's so fresh like that, you could almost have it raw or semi-raw, you know, like sushi type of thing. And then what I would do, I would serve it with a little bit of yogurt. Or today we have some creme fraiche. This is a famous place in Plymouth called Language Farm, or just outside, and their cream and their dairy product is stunning. So you just have it back on the side, and more or less it's ready. So you see how quick it was really in a sense. Just leave it a few more minutes, and that's what we're trying to do, you know, to show you that it can be quite reasonable to purchase. And then, now I know my name now. That's it. That's great. And then, that's it really. And then, what we'll do, I'm afraid so, you blink, it's done. And then, just a little drizzle of lime. And a little bit of olive oil. When you're actually dressing a salad, always use a really good olive oil. When you're cooking, it's not that necessary, but then that's it. Then you have the mackerel with creme fraiche. So you see how quick it was? Really good. And then you could have it as it is, or you could leave it cooling off, add up a few tomatoes, let's say, a few cherry tomatoes, let's say, and then also what is quite good in a salad, if you want, when you buy spinach leaf, that's really great as well. You know, you can eat them raw, and then just a couple of tomatoes. And what we'll do with the spinach leaf, we're just going to just put a few like this, just next to the, then finally just sprinkle it with the, so it's all colorful and very healthy for you. So you see how quick it was, and you could do that with almost any fish you want. You know, so that's a little pan-fried mackerel with spring onion and a little bit of creme fraiche. Alright? And as I said, you can have that lukewarm as well. Now what we also have bought for you, as I said, all the produce that we are using today will be, you know, like said for instance, this pouch of chicken fillet or chicken breast. Those were 3 for £10, so you got actually nine fillets, you know, 9 breasts for or £10. So, you know, if you think about it, how long you see the dish when I cook it, how much you get out of it is quite good value. Now we're just going to, now what we do with the chicken breast, again, to cook it very quickly, we will open it like butterfly it, we say, which is literally, and just put that over there. And when you're actually using a knife and scraping the board, always turn it over, never scrape it with the sharp end, otherwise you will lose the sharpness of the knife. So sometimes you see the supermarket as well in Sainsbury, what they do. And the reason why I mentioned Sainsbury is because they are sponsoring this cooking demonstration as well, so it's not my preference or whatever. And then they sell, they call them chicken fillet. You can buy those packets, and again, that's literally take 3 minutes to cook, 1 minute on the other side, and then to finish it off, so it's really quick. So, you know, if you don't want really to spend an awful long time in the kitchen, because I know you're always very busy studying or going to the club, so you know you want to spend little time in the kitchen but eat well. So what, as I said, what you do, you trim it ever so slightly and then open it like this. So again, literally this is going to take minutes to cook, you will see. So just trim it a little bit. Throw that away. So as I said, very often they sell them as chicken fillet, they call them. So again, a little bit of seasoning. Now if you're conscious about the salt, just put maybe a little less than I do. But you know, it's quite nice to have food that is nicely seasoned. Then, and then, as I said, just pan fry it. Sometimes with the guys, we used to cook on gas, so this you have to forgive me a little bit because this takes a little longer than what we normally do to warm up. Now with this, which is really, again, good fun, what we do, we will serve it with some leeks, and this is a very, again, we have a couple of stores in the market who are actually growing their own vegetables. So again, I would say go and see them, introduce yourself, say look that we sent you, and then I'm sure they will look after you. So really, and then get to know the farmer, so you can buy all the vegetables nice and fresh. So what we do, we chop the leeks very finely. But you will see how quickly, literally how quickly this is cooking. Now sometimes what you can do, say when I'm going to turn this over, then what we want to do is to give them a little bit of color. So we're just turning them over. If you wanted to cook them a little bit quicker, you could put the whole frying pan. So if you have a frying pan that can no plastic handle or anything, this can go actually into the oven, to finish it off.
So far we've had 3 rows of students who've actually tasted your first dish, Jack, and they're still alive.
Hopefully.
Well, this was survival cooking, so that was the idea. What do you think, guys? Did you like it? Tasty?
Yeah. As I said, you see, if you ask them, with the mackerel, or sometimes you have whiting, which is quite nice as well, you can use in a similar way. But, fish is great because A, it's good for you, especially mackerel, and then secondly, it's quick to cook, like I show you just now. As I said, what we'll do here, we'll make incidentally, these leeks, and we're going to chop some ginger as well. Goes very well with chicken, but equally as well with fish as well, if you wanted to try that. And then ginger, you can buy actually ginger already made in a kind of a paste, but I prefer fresh ginger, so, and that will keep, say for example, if you put it in a fridge, peel it will keep for, I'm just going to, so what I do here, chop it finely. There you go. And again, ginger is not very good for you, so it's very healthy thing to eat. So now I know that by listening to the thing that it's taken some color. Look, that's quite good. That's what I was looking for. Nice and appetizing. That's perfect. That's what we're looking for there. I'm just going to rest, and then very often we try to say to people, be careful, like when you take, like what I just done there, take the frying pan away, the heat will carry on cooking whatever is in it for at least 1 minute and a half. So when you're cooking fish like we done the mackerel, always remember that, give it a little extra time. Now, what we'll do with this, just take a plate, and then just to show you, often people say, well, how long does it take to cook? And I say, well, not long, because, and then to prove a point, obviously, you don't want to overcook things, but you also want to cook it. I'm just going to show you, and I hope you can see it. See? This is cooked. Because the heat carried on in there. So what I do, for you to be able to taste some, I'm just going to... So this we keep, because in essence it's going to be the sauce. You see, you got the cooking juice, the nice olive oil we put in there, the cooking juice of the chicken, so we put that back on the heat, and then I'm going to cut, while I'm doing that, I'm going to cut some nice little chunk for you to try. Of course, obviously it has to be cooked right through, but as I say, you see, it's not pink or anything, so and then I can feel it when I'm cutting it, how tender it is. So we put the leeks, and believe it or not, those leeks because they're finely chopped like that, again, we want to keep all the goodness of the vegetable. They will take literally 1 or 2 minutes to cook. So it's really, again, quick. So just cut that like this. I can feel it, you know, that really this chicken is so tender. So what did we say? It was 9 breasts for 10 pounds. So it's just, so really we're going to try to analyze it that, you know, so there we cook 3 breasts. So that's 3 pounds to buy the chicken roughly. So you have really quite a few meals. We're going to portion it out a little bit and then you can see how many minutes. So really what we want is to keep it here, keep all the goodness of the leeks, nothing goes wasted, you know, like when you see the reason why I'm cooking those vegetables as well in the oven like that, so nothing gets wasted. If you cook vegetable in water, then all the goodness of the vegetable go in the sink when you're draining them. So try to, and again, you see with the leeks, just wash them thoroughly, and then just put the ginger, and literally this, you know, you don't have to cook it too long because you want to keep all the goodness as well. So this is really a dish that we do quite often because it's really nice and Dave likes it, so I want to keep him in a good mood as well. So and then what we'll do is that we put the chicken back on there.
And in terms of raw ingredients in this, you've got chicken, leeks, ginger and cream.
You don't have to put the cream if you don't want to. I mean, that's optional if you like. But as we think it looks quite nice.
There's really only 3 or 4 ingredients in total.
Then what we'll do, again, just get a few spring onion.
4 ingredients of spring onions. One thing I've learned from working with chefs and demonstrations like this is you may have the idea that cooking is really complicated and recipes have got lots of instructions and they're really complicated. You'd be surprised how often chefs actually make it up as they go along or just do things that are very simple. Like Jack is doing here. It's actually only a few ingredients. It's not wonderfully complicated, but when you get to taste it, then you'll find it's really nice. And that's one of the secrets. Don't try and overcomplicate things.
Then we just add up a little bit of cream, because that is really the leeks, we don't want to overcook them, so just put a tiny little bit of cream. Try not to make a mess like I did. And then just coat it and toss it a little bit, and then finally just have a little taste. I think it should be alright. A little bit more salt.
How much salt would you say is the right amount of salt, Jack?
What you like, really. I'm not getting involved in grams or anything. No, just it's to each taste, and then we finish it with a bit of lime juice, and then that should be perfect. And then that's your dish done. You can have a plate there. And then if you wanted it, you could put it in the middle of the table, get some bread going. But you see, so we said this is £3 in money, but any restaurant, I shouldn't say that, but that would be at least £15. So you can see that it's an advantage for you to do it yourself. Put that there, and then finally a little bit of spring onion, just to give it a bit more. So you have the leeks who are cooked just right, and then this just give it a little zing to finish off. And that's it, so you have your breast and chicken with leek and ginger. Alright? Right, so Dave is going to hopefully cut some for you. Just going to get a little clean up, and then we do another dish straight away. Now we have also the way spoiled us, we're giving us some steaks here today. So we can fry a steak for you, and then
by then the vegetable most certainly will be ready. Really nice thick piece of steak, really nice. And again, seasoning, pepper. Then what we'll do, really to cook it quicker for you, and we're going to trim it as well a little bit, so we're going to cut it in half. If I can. So we cook quicker. And again, that is a kind of a trick really, because it's such a... This is mature steak, they call it, which has been hanged for possibly 28 days or something, which is great. Let's take that off a little bit. Perfect. Right. What we'll do with the steak, we're going to use some pak choy. Now, what is interesting, this again, I remember being in Hong Kong where very often people will go and buy all the grains 3 or 4 times a day because they want it very, very fresh. And this is really, some farmers are growing it in Cornwall now. And it's so quick to cook as well. So, you can either steam it, but usually we find that with vegetable oil we are going to cook it in a wok. And again, it won't be as quick as the spinach, but not far off because you want to keep it nice al dente as well. So again, a little bit of seasoning, pepper, then in the wok we put vegetable oil. We're running out of gas, but that has no electricity, but it doesn't matter. Right. Then this time with the wok, we'll cook it with the lid on. So in essence, what it's going to do is also going to steam it in the same time. So that's what I have the garnish of the steak. Actually, if we put that first, start the... And again, this wok actually, you know, you can spend quite a little bit of money, but this was possibly about £8, I think I bought it. It's very cheap, it's not heavy. I cook with Ken Home, and I think it is agreed to use that, but you know, this is quite good for if you wanted to buy one, a cheap one. And I think that TK Maxx, or there is a shop a little bit further down. What is that shop called?
Wilkinson's.
No,
Durham Mill.
No.
Durham Mill.
Yeah, that's very good, isn't it? You know, they have very good bargains there. So what we do is just put it in there, like this. And again, try to keep it as long as possible. Try to not to scratch it, so always use a wooden spoon. So, what else have we got for you? So we've done the chicken, we're doing the steak, we've done the pork. So what was your favorite so far? Chicken, pork, or the fish? No? You didn't try any? No? So you're not going to invite me to cook for you then? No? Okay. Right, so that's it. So we're roasting this, and then in a sense I'm steaming it. Alright. So again, with the steak, when you're actually cooking the steak already, just make sure that your frying pan is very hot. You know, so because we want to actually seize the meat and keep all the goodness of the meat inside. So as I said, with using the wok with the lid, what you do, you're roasting it a little bit, which is quite colorful there, but you're steaming it. So again, we're wasting nothing. All the goodness of the vegetable, everything is kept into the pot, or you're going to eat it. And then the other one that you can do is steaming. Now we have a steamer. It's called a petal steamer. So what you can do, buy one of those and literally heat almost any saucepan that you have over the wok. So what you do, usually we use a flat dish like that, over frying pan, and you put your steamer in there. Then whatever you want to put, let's say vegetable or fish, that. So make sure that the water doesn't touch the little feet of that. Put whatever you like on there, i.e. fish or vegetable, season it, put the lid on, and then bring it to a simmer, and then that will cook the vegetable maybe 4 minutes, the same as this. Keep it again, all the goodness of the vegetable. So those you can find almost anywhere now, they're called feta steamer. And the beauty of it, that if you have a steamer with layers, and then depending, unless you're very used to cook what you're cooking, you have to dismantle it to find out where all the elements are cooked. But this one, all you have to do, you have to lift it and have a look, and then you have a better control. Those are nearly done, look, this is perfect, this is what I was trying to achieve there. So just leave that a little hotter again. That's it. Just clear up a little bit of the mess there. So remember, the feta steamer is really quite good to good investment, and I think this little one, how much does it cost there, this one? This little steamer, the feta steamer, how much does it cost?
You go to Wilkinson's, they
Wilkinson.
cost £3.
£3 in Wilkinson, which is a shop just not very far from you. And again, that flavor that I'm doing the dishwasher is very easy to, and then we'll fit any sauce on, that will fit this one. But usually when we use it, we just use this kind of flat saucepan, or the frying pan to do it. See what you want to do, put a little bit of water in the frying pan, and then just put the lid on, and then you're in. Alright, so that's very useful as well. Right. So these down there are quick. So steak. How do you like your steak cooked? Rare? Medium rare? No? Have it done? How do you cook? Oh yeah, no. I'm cooking it, but I wanted to know how you want it to cook. Okay. Medium well, alright. No problem. No problem. How are we doing for time here? Yeah, yeah.
We have another 40 minutes to go.
40 minutes, okay, that's fine. No problem. What do we do here?
Well, I'm so according to Spain. Does anybody else have any questions with their glasses? While you've got the Michelin star chef stuck in front of you, does anybody have a question with their glasses? Anything? Anything? Baby roast or cooking preferably? Yes, you have a question. Excellent.
And then it goes back to there. The saucepan. Plate. So again, look, these are cooked. I mean, you can actually check them a little bit, still a little bit lighty, so you keep all the goodness, all the green, looks nice. And then what we'll do is that we'll take a little bit more cook for you, for all of you, and then what we'll do, literally, we're going to give a little stir. And then literally, we'll put this in there. And then we have almost like a stir-fry beef, but really it's quite nice. Very natural and bok choy. So you could use any green really, so bok choy or you could have spinach, you could have, but as I said, I can feel it now. The green part of it is cooked, and then the white bit is a little bit al dente, so that's what we wanted really. And again, the last minute, a few spring onions. Just for decoration and taste. nice, we just put at the last minute. Okay, and then that's it. And you have your steak with a bit of pak choy, cooked in a wok, everything nice and al dente. And you should be, there you are. Alright?